Copyright 2017 Win Your Brand. All rights reserved. This video is subject to copyright owned by Win Your Brand. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this video is expressly prohibited, unless Win Your Brand has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.
So what mindless compliance means? Mindless compliance means people will mindlessly comply to your wishes. So when I give the example of the Xerox machine, if you stand in, how many of you here will shop at Costco? And how many of you here will go and buy this $7, $8, I believe now, roasted chicken, which is nobody else has something similar, because all the other stores, they put flavor to it. The only one which has no flavor to it, just a flavor of chicken, is Costco. No lemon flavor, nothing, just a chicken flavor. So
I know that.
if you go Safeway, if you go everywhere,
Safeway, I always get there.
they will have herbs, they will have flavors to it. But the only one who has the chicken flavor, roasted chicken, is Costco.
Oh, I didn't know.
Okay, that's why we love it. And you go there, $7.99, great job, you know, it's even cheaper than the raw chicken, you know. And you try to go out to catch up the dinner table where they have all the pasta and everything waiting for the chicken, and you find all of these lines at the checkout. What you do?
You ask somebody to go in front of you.
You should you will ask somebody to go in front of you. So how these guys will mindlessly comply to allow you, and you'll be shocked. Like you'll have just the chicken standing there, and you'll find this family which will have like 3 cars like this high, you know, and you stand there and you look at them and they look at you and smile. I don't need your smile, you know, like just let me get through. I don't have to wait for 45 minutes behind you. And guess what will happen? They go through the line, and then what will happen? The wrong UPC code.
Yep.
The
Yeah.
price is not right.
Yeah.
They have to call supervisor for whatever reason.
You're
And
standing
the
there
most
with your
important
chicken.
part will happen to you at Costco is that exact moment where the cashier has to check back all the money. Because in Costco, every specific limit, they have a limit. Otherwise, they put it in this plastic tube and they send it through the tubes.
Yep.
And then she had to come and cash, and then the supervisor has to come to supply the coins. So it's another maybe half an hour. So
For your chicken that's getting cold.
no, my family is hungry at the table waiting for this chicken, okay?
Costume.
And they will just eat the pasta and the salad, and then I'll have the chicken at the end because. So
Then you get more chicken.
when you are in these situations, you need people to mindlessly comply. People like accept what you are trying to do. It's nothing different than if you have a strong message or you have a program which will make sad faces, happy faces, and this is the program you have, and this is your offer, this is the transformation you have for the people. What do you like these people to do?
Mindlessly comply.
To sign up to your program. So mindless compliance means similar to engage, similar to take actions. However, when we come back from these interesting countries with dictators and so many other information, we consider this as something
Bad.
bad. You need your spouse and to mindlessly comply to your wishes, not during night time. Okay, don't get me wrong. Okay. Why do you laugh, guys?
Because that was a sexual
Because,
joke.
because you have no sense of humor.
Okay, thank you. You need your kids to mindly comply to your instructions.
I need my children to mind.
You need people to. So how you can do that? So the science showed us different techniques, and we stand them and make them as a pillar. So one of the important pillar, we call it scarcity, and scarcity means
Thank you.
urgency. So when you create urgency, people will mindlessly comply to what's next. The biggest proof we have is when they stop the flights between Paris on the Concorde between Paris and New York. Their sales jumped by 92% more, and they have all the flights sold out within 2 to 3 days after they announced that they are shutting down the whole business by the end of the month or something like that. So 92% more compliance. If people will understand, it's only one of its own time, lifetime only. Now, limited time and limited seatings, or is last one before, like I was in an event the other day, and this is the last event before the fall event. So this organization will do 4 events, and everybody will know it's 4 events. So there is one in Christmas, one in spring, one in fall, and one in winter. That's it. So I send us the announcement say, join the last event before the fall event. There is no other meeting before fall. Everybody knows that. But the fact is, my wife read this and said, "Oh, I signed up because this is the last one before the next fall." I said, "Yeah, we know." She said, "Yeah, but we have to make sure that we see them. Otherwise, we have to wait for another 4 months." I said, "Yeah, we know. We see them every 3 months, so it doesn't matter." So this kind of language will get people to comply. Do you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We just did it. We just talked about
Okay.
it. No, we just mindlessly complied.
Another one, we call it commitment. So on commitment, what we say is when a nurse will allow the patient to write down when they are coming back for a checkup visit to the doctor, 18% will show up more than if she will write to the client the next appointment and she hands the card to him. So when they analyze clinics, they found out it's the best practice in a clinic that you give the blank card, you give the pen, and ask the patient to write down. Because when they write down, what will happen?
They memorize it.
Okay, how
They
do
have
I?
an attachment to it.
Yeah, and how do I do this in this workshop? I always emphasize that you write down what. I know we have lots of writing here, however, we always emphasize that you write down what.
The actions.
The actions.
Yeah, actions is right.
Yeah.
And
And-
I didn't meet her actually. She invited me over to one of her. She's an individual who runs in town here a huge program on energy, and she is licensed from an institute in California, and they run this whole program here. And in their last training, they invite me, the first time ever, to invite an external consultant to discuss topics not within the curriculum. And when she was here in the workshop, she had the sheets, and then 2 months later she invited me as a guest speaker. I went in there, I gave my presentation. They said, very well put together. I can share with you, I didn't put anything together. I knew they have some headlines, and I went there, I gave the message. And what shocked me is when the first time she saw me, she said, "Oh, nice to see you, long time." I said, "Amazing, like what, 2.5 months now." She said, "Yeah, you know what? Out of my action sheets, I done all of the 7. Now I still have 2 left, and I will finish them this once." It blows my mind away. It blows my mind away because we as instructor or facilitator to workshops, we always give what we know, and we're hoping that you guys will take action with it. We cannot force you to take actions. But when you meet someone, she just came, she was sitting in the middle there for the 3 days, and she went away. Then she sent the invitation for the event. This is the topic I should be covering. I went, I covered it. They said it's awesome. And the first things when she saw me there, she said, "Oh, I completed 7. I still have 2 more to go." I said, "Wow. Let me know when you have the 2 more completed so we can celebrate, and I will invite you for a dinner." This is what I said. So commitment is a very important. It's a very important. If you want people to mindlessly comply, so if you do the Q test, or you want to have the 21 days transformation, or you have 1 hour session, and you want people to go away, or you want to sell the hot sauce, and people say, "Oh, we love it, we'll buy it," you need to show them, to write down, we agree on that. Okay? So this is, any questions on this particular pillar? Okay. I forgot now the other ones. There is another one, we call it appreciation. And appreciation, it's people have, sometimes we call it likeness. So people have to like and appreciate where they are. People have to appreciate you, have the like the program, have to appreciate your presence. And how you do that? How do you verify that people appreciate?
You affirm them.
How? What's the simple way to verify that they are appreciating where they are?
They
Or-
have to so just let me confirm. So they need to appreciate where they are in their moment.
They need to appreciate your program, they
Your
need to appreciate
program.
your message, they need to appreciate what you give them, that's right?
Yeah.
They need to appreciate you, they need to appreciate the location, they need to...
Your testimonies, right? That will help.
But so if I have somebody in front of me, how do I know they appreciate how do I know they appreciate?
They're engaging with you.
How do I know they appreciate it?
Say thank you.
Just you ask them question. You ask them question. Do you feel comfort here? Do you like the material given? Can you relate? Can you reflect? You ask question. Is this simple? So when you be on the phone call because you are doing or in a Zoom session because you are doing a Zoom session or a phone call, oh, how's everything? Like, do you really like the phone? Is my sound coming okay? Do you really enjoying it here? In the middle, say, okay, I like. Is this what you were looking for? Can I just check here? Like, is this what you expect to see?
What if they just like say, yeah, okay, and like they're saying yes and but you don't believe that they're saying yes and
If you don't believe they are saying yes or hi, it's you position it as objection, and I will talk about how you can overcome objection briefly. So you have to ask more questions to verify that they appreciate.
Okay.
And if you ask too many questions, what impression you will give?
Not confident.
Not confident.
Right.
So there is always a balance between how much, but appreciation and likeness is one of the most important thing, because if you don't appreciate here, will you take actions? Will you agree to come again for one-on-one sessions or to sign up to my program? No. Okay? So appreciation is a key. And we will go so many times and we want to tell our wisdom, we want to share, and we forget to ask, do you like what you hear? Will you use it? Do you appreciate? You don't need to ask, will you appreciate it, okay? But just ask questions giving the same meanings, okay? Relevant to your business. I remember I was on a stage a few times last 3 months or so, among like 5 speakers, among like 8 speakers, among so many other speakers. And I was the only one in the whole show were asking for feedback. Raise your hand. What you do? Get this. You know, and like people like, what? Yeah, you know, like there are speakers who just go, the minute they be on the stage, they are like a train, like express. You know the express?
Express train.
What's the express train will do?
It just goes.
It just go.
Yeah.
So, and it blows my mind, like, you just get them to agree. Get them to accept. They don't do that. They just keep going. Make sense?
Well, you've heard Lisa Nichols speak at the E-Woman in The Secret. Have you heard her speak?
Yeah, like
Or-
at the
right, or
thing, yeah.
even Sandra. So yes, yes. Remember them going yes, yes. Are you catching that? What does Sandra always say? Are you?
Well, yeah, okay. That was
Yeah.
that
Long
was
time
years
ago.
ago.
Yeah,
The
but
yes yes
absolutely.
approach have been used by Big Potential and different places,
Yeah.
and the yes approach is basically
A commitment piece.
getting commitment. Okay.
Is that when they say yes or yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really, that irritates me.
Yeah.
It's more American than Western Canadian. right? Than
Yeah, Western Canadian are conservative, you know, which they have no meaning. There is no definition for being conservative.
yeah.
But whenever I run into situations and I go to my mentor, I say, no, Brian, what's happening? You are really living in a conservative country. I said, what does this mean? He said, it doesn't mean anything, but anything you don't understand, you justify it as a conservative country. Okay. The first one, which is always we fail into it, is consistency. So if you have consistency, if people are consistent, so consistency is number one. You have to be consistent with your messages. You have to be consistent with your offer. You have to be consistent in the way you meet them. You have to be consistent. So if you start having conversations over, like when I have people here, and amazingly I notice it, like sometimes I meet them in my office, sometimes I meet them in the meeting room. So we will maybe have a schedule to meet in my office for like 4 or 5 times in a row. You will find like by the end of the 4th time they are more compliant and things are moving quickly. And now we say, okay, what about having more space in the meeting room? Let's just come and sit here. You will find like we are starting from scratch again. We're just starting like they need to be filled up. They need to be ignited because it's a different venue. So how many of you will feel if they go to a different venue, they need first another step, an extra step? How many of us will feel if you go work elsewhere,
Okay.
like if you work in Tim Horton all the time, but suddenly you go to Starbucks, what will happen? You are in a new environment, so what will happen, right?
Yeah.
New benefits.
You know, so if consistency is the biggest one in compliance.
Would you even say that towards the way that you dress? Like the.
Oh, good point.
You have to dress. Because I have white shirt today.
No.
What do you mean? No, speak your mind now, okay? Speak your mind.
I was thinking. Of
2 days black shirt and 1 day white shirt,
It would
okay?
just totally messed me up. No, but certainly. I was just thinking, like I have a certain style of dress that I always wear, and one day, I didn't actually I dressed down versus dressed business casual, a little bit dressier, and it threw. I was just thinking of
It will throw them away
it threw
because
them off, and I didn't actually. I was expecting to close the deal, and I didn't close it.
yeah, because what I feel now is I am not important for you. So when I come here, I have a suit and tie every day, and you meet me every day with suit and tie.
Right, and then
And we have this particular meeting coming today, and you see me in a like suit and tie and casual business dress with a jacket. It's okay, but if you see me like in a short and t-shirt, what you will expect? Like I go to events. I can share with you a real story, and this will, what I share here can get me in trouble in the community, but that's why I always protect these videos because I speak my mind, and sometimes I say stuff here about my wife, and somebody met her and said like, yes, so excited about you, and said blah 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 blah, and then I had a discussion at home. So no, we went to this public speaker club events, you know, and the individual was just starting some segment club. I said, yeah, let's just go support him, and we know the guy, and $10 is not the end of the day, that's right. So we went there, and he suddenly decided to have it in his house. It was very interesting. He said, yeah, like Brian will have meetings for the BC party in his house because his basement can take 170 people.
Right.
And he's like in Slopes, in one very interesting area in Calgary called Slopes. And so this is a special guy. Like when you go to his house, you down basement, you have a big hallway which can take 170 chair, and there is a bar, and there is a flag. So there's different. So this guy said, yeah, I'll get the 20 some people in my house. I have a basement like this size, can accommodate 20 people in my house, okay? As we went there, first things we seen is the house for sale.
Yeah.
Oh.
So this was the first thing. Then when I went in, he said, each one of you should bring, he said, I don't live in a barn. He gives like a very interesting thing. I don't live in a barn, and people when they come in, so each one of you should bring, especially people who will speak in this event, should bring indoor shoes. So what I did is I have a stage shoes. So I have shoes for the stage only.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I travel, I have it in the box,
Mm-hmm.
and I put it on. I take it off. I put it in the box because sometimes the stages, sometimes the stages they don't allow you to come with the street shoes because they want to make sure the surface is well built. So I have this. So I took it. I said, like I was lucky. Otherwise, I have to go to buy one. So I did know that about maybe 7 of the invitees did not join because they got the message of what? Bring your. It will not be aware that you will have to take off your shoes. It was, I don't live in a barn, and just very interesting way. He was funny. He thought he was funny. It was okay. So 7 did not come. Then when we went in, we found a very interesting situation. We sat in his living room, and he has few chairs in the middle. And the most interesting part is the whole house was actually tiles. So it's okay to walk in with outdoor shoes in summer, okay?
Yeah.
and he was in a short
Shorts, yeah.
and t-shirts with showing his bare feet.
Yeah.
So, you know, like
Did he have sandals on or was he barefooted?
Was it Crocs?
he was like sandals on, but
Oh,
it was
okay.
like it was not appropriate for a speaker clubs, because the other speaker clubs will meet where in ATB Entrepreneurship Center. You know the center
Yeah.
in 17th Street and ATB Entrepreneurship
Or a
Center.
hotel conference room.
Or we will meet in the Best Western Village.
Yeah.
And when they had their own events, they go to like California, they go to like San Diego, and they have it in Arizona. And when you look at the other clubs, there are very people actually having ties and bows, and so I was like going, what is it? Now, will we go again? I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't. It's just I was invited to speak there. I went, but it was like very interesting, and I had my own shoes, I had my own thing, and then I went there, and they have like it was like a very interesting experience. So, dress code, keep it similar. You don't need to be like in a tie and or in a very formal every time, but if you meet them in a comfort dress, keep it comfort. You know, just be consistent. If you start your meeting in a specific way, like I start my meetings, I have a special sheet I developed so we can align the agenda of the 1 hour, 2 hour discussion, because one of the biggest problems you will see in coaching and training, that the people will get all the value, will be excited, and then they will go to their own routine, and then come and guess and do what?
Well, they won't do anything, and then they return it. Oh, it's always your fault.
And it's all your fault. So, and I will share with you another model I developed also to compensate for that. Any questions on these 4 pillars? The fifth, these are 7 pillars, okay? So if I can remember the 7, you will be lucky, okay? The 5th pillar, we call it social proof. So what social proof means?
Other people think it's okay.
So what happened is in Hilton chain, do you go to hotels? That's right. Each one of you here at least went one day to a hotel room, that's right? In the hotel room, you have this interesting sign: 75% of our customers will recycle and use the same towel to save the environment. That's right.
Right.
I still don't.
So when they had this sign up, they found out that the 34% of guests who stay 4 nights or more will use one towel. So imagine you are in a hotel operator and you have a long-term guest who's paying the same money every week, every day, and suddenly he decided to use one towel for 5 days. What this will do for your business?
Huge.
Well, you reduce your costs of laundering by
Okay.
50%.
Yeah, so this is for hotels is a serious thing, because the hotels, they have to come and change the whole sets and every cycle and things like that. So when you talk about social proof, if you don't have your social proof, so now the question is how we can provide social proof. So people will mindlessly compliant, because I know you don't like mindless compliant. And I always quote you, as I got your permission to quote you, so I will always quote you on that. When we talk about mindlessly compliant, you have a sign, can you take your shoes here? And they are the only ones coming to the clinic. So if you have a spare shoes, you know what I'm talking about, this, right? You know, you have an idea what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some holistic clinics, when you walk in, they ask you to take your shoes off. And if you are the very first victim, the very first visitor, not victim, you will find no shoes is there, nothing. What you will do?
Don't keep your shoes on.
You will keep your shoes on, that's right. Is it common in a holistic, is it common in a clinic to take your shoes off?
Yes.
A
And
regular
a
clinic? No.
chiropractor or somebody holistic, not like a GP.
Yeah, so if somebody doesn't know, what he will do?
He's
Just
on.
leave them on.
This is what I did, okay? So I was so embarrassed inside, you know. I couldn't come back out, because my socks has a hole. No, it's not the socks that have a hole, okay? The point I want to make is, if you have the shoes to take off and you put 2 or 3 spare shoes is there, and nobody in the clinic,
Yeah.
guess what people will do?
They'll
Let's
take
take
them
the
off.
shoes off.
Why? Because
Mindless compliance.
others took
Right.
their shoes off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how you apply this in your workshops? You ask everybody, do you agree? Everybody will say yes. That's right.
Or the ones that don't agree won't say anything.
They will change their minds.
Because everybody else just said yeah.
So do you get this concept?
Oh, yeah.
And I will share with you how to apply this to every single piece of material, even your business card. Okay? The sixth one, we call it authority. So on authority, what we talk about is two things. One relevant to you guys. So in a massage therapist clinic, in physiotherapist clinic, what they found is, if you have a physiotherapist, will put her own degree on the wall.
Yeah.
There are 56, I believe, better compliant to her instructions. On the other hand, the American Institute for Medicine, or whatever they call it, disease control, they announced that if you have a weight loss program written on a prescription by a doctor, there are about 67% better compliant. That's people, 67% will lose weight in the first month. More than a nutrition or somebody will write it in a blank sheet. Because a prescription from a doctor means what?
Instructions you follow for your health.
It's an authority, right? So what kind of authority do you have to show? So for me, I have my books as authority. I have, sometimes I bring my sheets, my black. You can sneak a peek to my office, on the wall behind me in my office. I use it as a studio as well sometimes. But you will see in my office there are some certificates, and there is a big sign of the award I got. Who cares about me getting an award 2014? Does it matter to you?
I got it.
Who cares? But when customers and when you personally come to me and see these things, it affirms what? I am an authority. Okay? And if you want to test it, it blows my mind when somebody will introduce me based on what they see. So I go to events sometimes and I don't have my bio written, like I send it but I don't have it. And then they look at my table and they see like I have books, I have things. He's an author, he's you know, who told you I'm an author? Because on my books, which is here, I am an author, that's right. So when I go to events, I don't play low profile. When I go to events and they allow me to have a table, I have my green, I believe you saw it, my green tabletop, which is we got from the neighbor when they have garage sale for free. Don't say my secret, okay? I want to say it doesn't cost you much money. Just to grab a tabletop from somewhere, which is different than anything else. When everybody have a black tabletop, put your own special color tabletop. So I have a couple of tabletops that are the same. We get them to be tailored to cover this particular lens, or put them into half to cover it, and they are this material. I did not get them from the garage sale. Just actually my wife, grandmother, did them for me, and she said this kind of material will not wrinkle. So when you twist it,
Right.
and you just put it, and put your couple of signages. If you don't have books, put your couple of books there, and then take them and put them in your car at the end. It will make a difference because people will know now that you are an authority. People will come to talk to you. So I go to events and they don't have these tables. So I ask, can I bring my small display? Oh, we didn't have display, but you know what? Doesn't matter. You just bring it. Okay. I go there and my display, it's the same. Like 2, 3. I have a box for collecting cards. I have few things like this size, like not big, but I have my own cover. I put it, and people will know. And you'll be surprised. Some other speakers will come say, "Why do you have this?" I'm doing it low profile. Okay, if you are low profile, good luck for you.
Yeah. Why? That. Yeah.
Good luck. How you can establish your authority? By saying you are the authority. If you're shy of saying it, will I say it on your behalf? No. Okay, so having like having sign like this or sign like this printed put your program in, that should impact your authority. You brought in one big point, which is the email, Gmail. People will using Gmail. So when you come to me and say, okay, here is my card and here is my other card, what authority do you have? You diminish your values, right? You must carry how many cards? Just the one. Sometimes you go to me and say, okay, here is my card and here is my business coaching card. Here is my card. So I carry like 2 cards. I actually went to one of, he's a chairman of the institute. And he gave me the instructor card and the chairman card. So I bought them. I'm meeting him on 22nd and I will talk to him about this. He shouldn't do that. If he's the chairman of the institute, he's the chairman of the institute. And if he's the instructor for the program, he's just the instructor. He cannot give me 2 cards because I got confused. And more interesting, the 2 cards has 2 different emails.
Yeah.
So what I will do?
Not email at all.
This is what exactly.
Well, and that's.
This is exactly what I did. Okay, when I got this information that he wants to meet me again, I replied to his assistant, say yes, okay, set it up, and then he called me as if Joel called me and said, "Why did you connect with me? I thought you sent me an information." I said, "Yeah, I didn't know which email I sent you to, and I connect with Jane, so I'm meeting you on 22nd." He said, "Okay, don't worry, just we can meet there." But I was uncomfort. Who are you? So when you have a card, the card must have your authority. Authority means you are instructor, transformational leader, thought leader, whatever authority you have. You don't say business owner. Okay? Maybe you say, I say partner and founder. I'm a partner and founder in an organization. You may even say instructor if you are an instructor. And the authority need to be, why is 1?
Ignorant.
Because they are ignorant. And the I in ignorant means 1 in Roman. And Roman is preceding the English language. So 1, 2, 3, ignorance start with 1. So you have to say one thing. So, do you agree on these 6 pillars for now? What is the 7th pillar? We talked about it. Remember we talked about the candy?
Oh, the gifts?
Yes.
Yes.
So,
Reciprocity.
yeah, reciprocity. Okay. So reciprocity is the concept of giving, and then what you do?
Receiving.
You receive. You will get. You have to be brave enough to ask for. Jennifer, you have to be brave enough to ask for
Referrals?
for the
Yeah.
sale.
The sale.
You have to be powerful enough to ask for the sale. So, and I always say the point is not how to give. So when I give you, for example, from me, this is not from the workshop. When I give you my 30 days to win, the journaling techniques, what I did, I explained to you how to use it. That's right. Because what will happen if I will give it to, and we can do this right now by practice because Bakri was not here. So if I give him this and he will open it, what's your impression when you open the second, third page?
What am I supposed to do with this? It's a lot of lists.
Okay? This is on the average will be someone response. So when you give somebody a gift or a lead magnet from business perspective, you should be able to tell them why this is effective for them, how this is effective for their life, how they can use it. That's right. And you may want to give it to them when they ask for it, not overwhelming them or downloading the material on their heads.
Can you say it again?
You want to give it to them sometimes when they ask for it. You know, like when I said, like, if you fill this, if you start on Monday, because this is starting on Monday, if you start tonight, write down what you will have for the week, because we didn't have the 90 days arrangement. So if you go to page, I believe page 2, that's right, page 2, you can write down what you will have for the week. and then on page 3 on Monday you start to journal what you have, and if you finish it in the first week, show it to me or send me a snapshots of it that you complete. I will send you another one at my cost till I'm not around. Maybe my people after my people after me, I will give them the will to keep sending it to you. If you keep doing it, I will support you. I will keep giving it to you every week, and when you finish the first 4 weeks, we give it to you for a month, so you can do it for a month, because we know the value of this journaling, and we encourage people to journal in this way. Journal with planning, not only journal by what did you do. Have control of your days. So when you give reciprocity, so when you have the book of the partners, I don't want to give examples so people don't get offended, but if you have books of partners or books of people who wrote about some system and say, I'm here, you have these books here you can get. You don't say that. You say, and here my gift to you is I'm giving you a book my partner wrote, which summarizes all the system which can happen, and I believe she understands or he understands what I'm talking about. And this approach, I'm giving this book with love and care. So whoever will take the book, what they will do? They will appreciate. That's right. But if I come and say, oh, and come see me after the talk, I have like 10 books for you guys here, you can pick up whatever you like. Is this a way to give away a book?
No, because you're downplaying it.
How many of us have been in a different forums and seen a speakers who will say this,
Yeah, lots.
and we will go to pick up the book?
Yeah, you don't pick it up.
That's right.
Well, I don't.
Well, the devaluing of it. It's like, didn't you work your heart, body, and soul into writing and sharing your ideas into a book, and then you're giving
If it's a book of a partner or a book I co-author with somebody, I may not have this passion for it.
Yeah.
So one of my customers and my good friend now, Karen, she will always talk about the fabulous books she wrote. Every book she wrote is a fabulous book, and I love what she say. Whenever she sends a message, and I'm sharing with you my fabulous book. If you want to come to pick up some of these awesome ideas inside the book, meet me down there.
So is that part of authority where you're kind of
No,
like
this
offering
part of
everything?
how you give on reciprocity. Yeah, having the book itself is authority.
So then if I say like, yeah, so if I have a book and I outplay the heck out, I guess that's credibility.
Authority, if you have a book.
Right.
How are you giving it is reciprocity.
So
Reciprocity is not giving. Reciprocity is how you give.
so if I say that this is the best book, it's going to change your life, whether I believe it or not.
No, if you don't believe it, we will
Don't
feel
say
you
it.
are bluffing. That's
Right.
it.
Okay.
I'm not sure why it always comes with you, but anyway. We'll be friends after these 3 days, that's right?
Yeah. Right.
Okay? So, any questions about these 7 pillars of engagement? Okay? So, you will find there are people talk about. There's a couple of other concepts where they demonstrate 3 or 4 different pillars or different corners, but I seek engaging is a mindless compliant. However, when we understand the Xerox model, if you have 100 page and you want to cut the line and say, can I cut the line because I want to make 100 copies, just because or without because, nobody will allow you, okay? So this mindless compliant must have a limit. I cannot sell $10,000 program, maybe $50,000 program with this only. It has to have something else. But if you are in the initial phase where you want to have clients more than customers, when you want to have just people who can approach you and test and speak about your offers, if you make sure you have this element. So the question is, how do I make sure I have these elements? Very straightforward. I go and pick up my marketing material, and I go to my marketing material. Is it consistent? Yes, it's consistent. The same color I don't like about my card and everything, so it's consistent. The fonts are consistent, so I can look for consistency. Does it have reciprocity? When I read here and I see like everybody will get extra material, yeah, it may have reciprocity. Does it have urgency? Does it have authority? Yeah, I have a PNG here and I have a doctor here, so it have an authority. Does it have urgency? Does it have social proof? Does it have commitment? If he doesn't have any of this, it's okay, but you know it's missing, okay? So what we do is when we finish designing a talk, which I will come into it in a few, maybe after lunch we'll talk about how you can have your own speech and stuff like that. You go back and verify that these pillars exist as many as you can. Make sense?
Yep.
Make sense? Okay. So we are waiting for, yeah. Okay. So the other concept which is I wanna also just explain with you is we have our presentation, we have our sessions, we have our words. That's right. What is the goal of doing all of these activities?
Getting customers.
And the customers will do what? The customer will do what?
We'll commit.
The customers will have actions that lead them to results, that's right? So this is what we hope.
Actions and what?
What does the
Result.
Results.
yeah,
Results.
stand for? Presentation?
So it can be presentation, it can be
Presentation,
sessions,
session,
words, it can be presentation, it can be activity, it
Perfect.
can be what you do, your social media, your your webinar. So you do actions here. You have actions here, and these actions should drive or activity. It should drive actions and results from your customers or your clients. That's right. So does this happen? Or will this happen?
Like a percentage of it happens.
How often will it happen?
So you're saying that in our presentation, if we engage them with an activity,
No, if you give a presentation, at the end of the presentation, you want them to have an action.
Okay.
If you have a modality treatment right now, or you have a workshop for delivering, at the end you want them to have actions. That's right.
Yeah, and results.
Do you agree on what I'm talking about here? So this is the action. This is what's happening. What's happening right now, and I appreciate from what's happening. My plan is to do what? People will take action to or achieve results. That's right.
Yep.
All of us agree on this principle.
Yes.
So why this doesn't happen?
Because we're missing the language.
Objections, barriers.
We didn't set it up and ask. Direct.
So what will happen when you have these actions? How people will receive them? So what we learn is people will have what we call it as selected attention. And this is how they receive the material you have. Okay? And I do have a video which I can show you if you'll not feel bored, because some of you may saw it before. But why?
I want to see it.
Sorry, so it's selected attention.
So what does mean selected
Yes.
attention?
yeah. That's
They hear what they want to
So the
hear.
cups.
how they receive.
I hear Reiki Master and my brain shuts off.
So I have my selected attention. When you walk in here, all what draw my attention is your shirt.
It's a nice shirt.
It's a very nice shirt. I love to have one. So you stand in front of me and talk to me and tell me so many things. All what's going in my brain is what?
It's a nice shirt.
Is a shirt. Okay. So we have a video of the cups, which is I can run or we can skip it based on if this will turn on or not.
No, let's run it.
So this is a video which will share with you
I'm not listening to what you're saying. You're not learning anything. It's like, I'm totally distracted right now.
What?
Talking right
You know,
now.
one day, I was talking with this lady, and she said, look, one of my staff wants a cleavage, right?
Yeah.
And the women's gym, and so we had a rule that there's no cleavage, like you can't actually have cleavage. And so I was talking to this girl, and she said, I don't really understand. And I said, because no one can look at your face, and whether you're a man or a woman, all they're looking at is your boobs. And she's like, no. I'm like, oh yeah. I said, watch this, right? So I was talking to members, and then she went and talked to members, and all the women working out were doing this.
Yeah.
Trying not to,
Trying to
obviously,
look at it,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
She's like, I had no idea. I'm like, really? Your mom never said to you, you should cover those eyes because she wants me to look.
Yeah.
She's like, no. I'm like, oh, that's just my mom. Okay.
So we select what we give attention to. So for example, if I have in my mind is shut off because I have a big bill coming to my house and I don't know how to pay it. So I will select not to give attention to any request from me to pay what? More money. So anybody will give you a better offer which can twist your life to the right in like a couple of months or so, you will be shut down. That's right.
Yep.
I will come here and I have all my teenager daughter. I'm not sure how many of you have a teenager daughter problems, you know, DTB or DTI, teenager daughter issues, you know. We have all of these issues in your brain, and you'll be sitting in front of the practitioner, and all what's going on in your brain is what?
The teenagers.
The teenagers. Yeah. What was your concert yesterday?
So,
Weird Al.
do you
Oh
want
my
to
God, really?
do you want to go grab food first, and then we can do the video, or do you want to do the video first?
How long the video?
We can break in like 12:30, if you like. 12:15. So selected attention means people will select what they give attention to. How many of you, when they bought a new car or a type of car, and when they were considering buying this car, all cars in the street were the same car?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a fact.
It's not a fact.
Yeah, it is. When you get a car,
This is your awareness.
Yeah, no, actually, I know what the reason is.
And how many of you here wants to change the roof? And whenever they go to any community, they are only looking at the roofs of the community. If you have a plan to change the roof and you start to get caught on the roof, just to check out yourself, because you'll find out what is the colors, what's the best colors of the roofs.
Right.
So you'll find out that you go to all communities. Oh, our house is red. This is not red. This is green. You see that? So this selected attention have been discovered by psychologists and people who study human behavior, and this is an example of how it works. Okay.
It's magic.
This is to show you. I'm going to hide this Hershey's Kiss under this cup. And the object is for you to pay attention and follow along and try to guess which cup the Hershey's Kiss is under at the end. Try to guess if it's in the left cup, the middle cup, or the right cup.
I don't think
Let's
there's-
check the left
there's
cup.
none.
The middle cup? If you guess the middle cup, you got it right.
Hey, we
So
got
now we're
that.
going to make it a little more complicated.
Yeah.
I've added an extra pair of hands and I've added additional colors here. But that's only to
I like
distract
the
you
nail
from the
polish.
pink
You
cups.
see?
Yeah, that's
The
what
pink
he
cups
said.
will
It's
always
orange nail
have, one of
polish.
the pink cups will always have the Hershey Kiss underneath. So let's get started. So can you guess where the Hershey Kiss is?
So what is the Hershey Kiss?
It's in one of the pink ones.
The left ones.
Okay.
I want to know where the duck is.
And this is where exactly. So you see the duck? How many of you here seen a duck?
I didn't
I
see
saw
that.
it before.
You
But
see
I
the
saw
duck?
that duck.
First time I
You
did.
saw that, okay.
A duck.
Well, you didn't?
Okay,
No.
yeah,
I
was
Yeah, I was like, me too. I was like, yeah,
I don't know where the
But
duck
again,
was.
you're focused on the kiss.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I didn't see the duck.
yeah.
Boom.
Doug.
In a guy's hand.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a different hand. Yeah.
So when you see this before,
Yeah.
you will see the duck.
Yep.
It's extremely difficult. I'm not aware of anybody who will see it for the first time
Yeah.
because they will recognize the duck.
Was it two processors?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you see the fifth hand?
The one with a watch on it.
No, the fifth
No, no,
hand.
but there was another one from the
The
top.
guy's hand.
No.
Hairy hand.
Okay.
I saw
I,
a
s-
di- a
I
different
saw his hand in
Okay.
that second one,
So-
but I didn't really see that.
Not the first time, yeah.
Okay. You see the fifth hand in the video.
Right there. After the duck went up.
Yeah, that took away a cup, and
There it
the
is.
cup came.
Five
yeah,
hands.
I was looking at the watch. And I was
Yeah.
like,
So it's not the guy.
Now it doesn't matter because did you see the green cups become blue?
Yeah.
No.
Or the blue cups become green, sorry.
Yeah.
Ah.
So they replaced the cups.
Okay. The point we want to drive here is when you be able to make actions or want things to happen, or you make events, or you speak words, or you show a marketing brochure or whatever, people will select what they want to receive from it. So how to open up their selection to accept what you say? How you open it up? How you control it?
To draw attention to.
How you draw attention to it? By asking questions. That's right. So if you have an important concept and you want people to really not to fly by it, what you do? You ask them to
Pay attention.
repeat.
Repeat it.
Or repeat it.
Pay attention. After that, you ask them to repeat it.
Okay.
After that, what you do? You send them to watch, to discuss on their own the learning of yesterday on the sheets.
Mhm.
That's right.
Yep.
So these are techniques have been used and studied to get you into accepting and receiving what's said here. So after when we select attention, what will happen to the information? It will go to interpretation mode, or I call it perception. So people perceive value of what you do, and they perceive value using their biased interpretation. Have you ever been in the nightclub with a friend, and when the girlfriend or the boyfriend was around you and just basically he left you and went, he didn't even say bye, and they say, yeah, he didn't even say bye and he left. So your friend will say, oh, you know, like all these boyfriends are sucks, they don't say bye. Have you had this situation before? If you have this situation before, the biased interpretations, because she had a bad experience, was just kicking. So when we provide actions or situations for people, or words or presentations, people will receive them using their
Bias.
selected attention.
Okay.
So I know somebody on this table who will always say, you know what, I know you may not like what I'm saying, but I want you to open up. Are you open to listen to me? You know who's saying that?
I do.
Why? Because he wants to take my selected attention away from my personal view or my personal perception or wherever, and he also wants to get my permission for him not to insult me, because he's a nice guy too. But I want to get he want to get my permission to listen to his message. So are you open to listen is a good example. Then when it goes through biased interpretation, you keep asking questions to verify. And the science will say something different, but what I developed here is, so people will perceive, and then they will iterate or repeat. And this is a cycle which we added in 2014. And how people will repeat, they repeat using their uncontrolled surrounding. And the uncontrolled surrounding is uncontrolled to you and to them. One of the uncontrolled surrounding is what? What's
Their past.
past means what?
The bias.
No, past means something else.
Experience.
Past means their self-talk. You know this better human than you sitting in your mind and just talking to you all the time about not doing the right stuff. So when you repeat the information here, or when you repeat the concept, when you repeat the offer on your own, you have your self-talk. Your self-talk will be the one who's sitting in your mind, giving you instructions how to run your life, and you don't know, and you believe you are doing good. The other uncontrolled surrounding will be your friends, family, and other humans when you have contact too. So your groups, your colleagues, the one you are describing the information. And you remember when we talked about the dominant decision dividers, what we talk about. When you have two partners in one room, one of them is thinking about your offer and the other one is feeling about your offer. So they will go and say, oh, I think this is good. And she'll say, I feel this is good. Or I think this is logic to join, I feel is good. So the decision dominant dividers are one key issue which you have to understand. That when people describe what happened here, and we had a volunteered example. Did you have another call yesterday?
Pardon?
You had another call yesterday asking what's happening in the event?
No.
Oh, it was a talk with her partner.
Yeah, yeah.
I know, and this was a volunteered example when she was saying like,
Yeah.
what's
Yes.
how
Yeah,
how
last night, thank you. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
how the day went?
Yeah,
It was
yes.
good.
Yeah.
How was the workshop? What did you say?
So I said it was good, but he wanted details, and then I told him I was too tired.
Okay.
But
So-
I had details written down for him, so
Okay.
then we had conversation last night.
So this
Very
kind
happy.
of
Yeah.
misalignment on exchanging the information, if you do seminars or you try to push material out, can kill your followers, because we'll go out and talk to other people and they have their own perceptions as well.
Right.
And the biggest one we have right now, we call it the online world.
Online word.
Yeah, so like it's social media, internet.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
So if you heard about Win Your Brand, what you will do?
Google it.
Google it.
Okay. And if you cannot like I was we were going yesterday to the same restaurant, we wanted to go to the same restaurant yesterday night, and I was going and they misspell the name because it's originally Arabic name, but they misspell it. It's not P-I, it's P-E-P-E, so it's very difficult. And they have like a lounge, they have like, I was looking for their offer for yesterday night for the open buffet. It took me like 5 minutes. And when I found it, I found this sign on Instagram that 4 hours ago they are sold out. So they have no more room. So I was like, I was not happy, but it is an example when it make it difficult for people. Like when you have 4 different names for your restaurant on 4 different pages, and you only put your promotion in one page, you know, and you are spelling it from Arabic or from another language to an English language. So if I say it in Arabic, each one of us will write it in a different way. There's maybe about 3 or 4 is either I or E, because you know, baby or BB, it doesn't matter, right? If you come from a different language, you can say P-I-P-E or P-I-B-I or B-E-B-E. That's right, because they are the same phonetic in the original language. So this kind of situations will make me wonder what's going on. So what's happened is we went to the promotion, we couldn't find it. Sometimes we end up going to somebody else.
Yeah.
That's right. If I can spell the restaurant name right, most likely Google will give me another restaurant name, and guess what will happen?
Yeah.
So I will not be able to find the really good one I want to go to. Does it just make sense?
I've had that happen, and then I ended up actually just opening up maps and then going in to see what it was actually on the maps, and then finding them that way because I knew where their location was. I
But
didn't
you are
have the
dedicated.
address.
You are dedicated. Don't
Yeah.
assume that all of your
Oh,
customers
exactly. But that
are
was
that
a
much
lot
dedicated.
of work because I wanted that specific place, and I wanted to see if they were open, what their hours were, because it was.
You are committed.
You are committed. So remember the Soup Nazi. You said the Soup Nazi people were committed to stand in line for him. That's right. So don't assume your customers are committed. Make it easy to your customers to find you, to find your information, to find who you are, what you do. Don't pick up names which are not commonly used names in English. Don't abbreviate them. Google doesn't understand this.
Yeah.
Use a proper English spelling for the names.
And how does this relate to the R, the repeated?
So people, when they repeat, so I get a message from you with my selected attention. I interpret it with my interpretation bias. And now I'm repeating in my mind
different message.
It may not be. It will not be the same message, because what I repeat will include all the it was an ugly place. Oh, do you remember the smells we had in this meeting room? Like I went to meeting rooms and people were giving like transformational coaching things, and you have all of these smells coming out. You know, like these smells did not touch us in the meeting, but 3-4 months later, somebody was asking about the same event, and one of the audience said, "Oh yeah, it was so smelly space." So, what smelly place against what you get? It was a transformational work. When we go to, there's another event in Calgary will happen, and they have this parking garage behind the clinic, and we will sit in the garage. It's a very nice place. Like from inside, it's very gorgeous. However, when you sit there, all what you hear is what's on the road. The cars and trucks going back and forth. So when you have hypnosis work or meditation work, guess what will happen?
It's hard to focus.
You can't. So all what we retain about this this event is what?
Noise.
The helicopter, man.
Yeah, remember the helicopter?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the helicopter was completely like it came twice yesterday. That's right.
Yeah, Friday. Yeah,
Friday.
yeah.
Or Friday. It came twice.
Yeah.
And it's completely outside my control. You know, I cannot control the police not to fly helicopters when I have workshops.
On Friday?
It was Friday or Saturday?
I'm pretty sure it was
I
Friday.
was here.
Yeah.
I didn't hear
Yeah, I
that.
didn't hear
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
The la-
It's on a duck.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't
Yeah.
hear it either. I didn't know what
The
you were
last
talking-
one,
I thought you were talking about.
we call it retention. So people will retain
Retain.
in their biased memory. So they use their biased memory to retain. Oh yeah, you know what? This guy was just so loud. You know, this lady. Yeah, you see, like she was like smelling like perfume as no tomorrow. She doesn't understand. People can be allergic. Oh, you know, see, her jewelry was incredible. And so you go away from the message to what? To the look, the jewelry, the feelings. You don't go out what's happening. The statistic demonstrates that within 3 to 7 days, people will forget 80% to 90% of the content. So you plan a message to drive actions, and the audience are getting down in this way. And then what will happen is they can keep the cycle going, or what they retain here can trigger their thoughts and feelings, and their thoughts and feelings can trigger their emotions and behaviors, and their emotion and behaviors will trigger their action results, and you may have another cycle here. So in the science they said thoughts, emotions, and actions, which is I disagree, because not all of us have thoughts. Some of us will advance their feeling first, and the feelings will not drive their thoughts. So this is a model which we foresee that anyone will do an event or an action or a call has to make sure you shortcut it so you get action result right away. So how can you shortcut these stages? So if you are doing an event for like 20 minutes to 90 minutes, you want people to sign up, what you do? You let them sign up before they go to repeat, they go to retain. If you have if you wanna have a session or a coaching session, you want them to take actions before they go away. That's right. So this is the cycles which you have to observe, and you don't come to me and say, "Oh, you know what? I was giving all of this and they didn't get it." No, it's not that they didn't get it. Is you did not walk them through the stages. That's why when you go home in a couple of days, you will receive emails from us. Maybe in a couple of days you receive a phone call. When people are here, they always be checked out. Oh, do you agree? Do you understand? Do you have any concern? Do you have any other? So this kind of interactions,
Right. Yeah, you're making them.
you are clarifying that this is what goes through your personality or your brain. Make sense?
Oh yeah.
Does now. Thank you.
What does that say? Emotional what?
Emotional behavior. And if you go to, if you downloaded our app, I can show you where you can get, like these are at least 2 presentations of more than 1 hour each, or like 40 minutes each, talk about this. So if you go to the app, I can show you that, how to access it. I can bring it to the computer as well. And we can break now, so you can go grab your lunch.
Where is it?
You can go grab your lunch, and we can, like 5-10 minutes to grab lunch, and then we can do the lunch session as well.
Copyright 2017 Win Your Brand. All rights reserved. This video is subject to copyright owned by Win Your Brand. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this video is expressly prohibited, unless Win Your Brand has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.